All right, what's good with y'all boys, man? And today in this video, I'm going to be talking about the book called Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins or Tony Robbins, if you guys know him. He has transformed a lot of people's lives. So this is coming from his book, Unlimited Power. This is not necessarily coming from entirely my own perspective, but I do have my own words to add to it just to make it easier to understand, okay? So, the first thing that the book talks about as soon as you get into it is that power is constantly around here. Now, look, power isn't just how much authority you have over others or how much you can control or control other people. Power is not just that, okay? Power is not for just imposing over others, but it's the ability to create a reality for yourself and others. What does that mean? It means that power doesn't just come, oh, because I have more money than you, because I have this and that. It's rather your mental reality that you shift. Power is producing those results inside in your internal state, we're going to talk about later, and producing them into the external reality. So, whatever's in here, whatever you've been dreaming about, comes out into the real world to change your life and impact others' lives. Okay. Now, in this day and age, we live in an age of information at our fingertips. You know, I don't have my phone on me right now while I'm recording because I do recommend you guys take your phone and put it in a different room if you're trying to actually work, and I'm trying to actually work. So please take that step right now. Even watching this video, put your phone away. Put your phone in a different room. Please, man, because it's going to take so much of your focus. Even if you had it sitting on the table right here, you're going to get distracted and pick it up. You got a notification. Turn notifications off. Turn Do Not Disturb on. Put a hoodie on and watch this video. There are studies that when you literally pull out your phone and you get that text message, it takes away 17 minutes of your focus just to reply to the one message. You got one message on your phone. Takes away 17 minutes of your focus. You're never going to hit flow state if you keep checking your phone. So I want you guys to hit flow state while watching this video. So we have always heard that knowledge is power, right? Even teachers in schools, everybody says knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. It's the difference between a person in the low position, low class, and the person in a higher position. But it's not necessarily true. It's more of a blanket statement where they just say, oh, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. What does that really mean, though? So we're going to take a look at what that means right now using this information in the book. So knowledge is not always just power. You can't just sit on your phone. You can have unlimited knowledge, scroll TikTok all day. There's so much overflow of knowledge. And obviously that destroys your attention span, but we're not going to talk about that right now. There's so much overflow of knowledge, but it doesn't even matter. This knowledge is not going to do anything for you if you don't take action on the knowledge. If you don't do what I'm doing, for example, take your book, read the book, take notes on it, record a video so you can use that knowledge and put it into practice. Tell somebody else, teach YouTube like I'm doing right now. I want you guys to do things like this because this is going to genuinely change your entire life, okay? So what we achieve in this life is all about communication. Now, what does that mean? Because we know communicating is, oh, I'm going to go communicate to my friend. I'm going to talk to my cashier so I can finish my payment process. I'm going to communicate to my mother about this certain thing. That's what we think communication is, right? Sorry, guys. But communication is not just that. Communication is actually everything in our lives. Every single thing is communication. So we want to improve that. Because if we can improve communication, we're improving upon everything in our lives. Now, in the book, it talks about how communication is how we communicate to ourselves and also to others. And there's a lot of people out here thinking successful people are way above them, that they can never reach their level, can never be as successful as Steve Jobs, successful as a rocket scientist, Elon Musk, etc., etc. People think they can never reach that because they implemented this in their mind and they never want to shift the goalpost. They keep the goalpost here, super low, and they never want to shoot higher than that. They only shoot here. Every time they kick the football, goes over here, goes over here. Set up a new goalpost up here. Even if you miss here, you're still making more progress than what's down here. So remember to shift your goalpost, guys. So the only difference between us and successful people is that they take actions and you don't take any action. You learn the same information. You can literally learn more information than Steve Jobs did because the internet wasn't as prominent. The internet's so easy to access now. It's crazy. You can learn more information than Steve Jobs. But the only difference is he took the action. He implemented the steps. He took that information and he didn't just see it as head knowledge. He put it into action. Uncomfortable action. Starting off having nothing. You don't know if it's going to work out. You don't know if your business is going to take off. You don't know if you're going to make any money. You go to a new country, you don't know what you're doing. That's uncomfortable actions. It's going to level you up. Now, obviously, don't be dumb with it and just take every single uncomfortable action you see, like punch somebody in the face because it feels uncomfortable. Don't do that. But the ones that are going to elevate you, okay? Now, I touched on it a little bit before, but there's two levels of communication, two forms, I'm sorry. There's one that is internal communication, how we communicate to ourselves, what we say, how we feel, and how we picture ourselves as a person. And then there's external communication, which is also very important. Now, your internal communication is going to mimic, or your external communication is going to mimic your internal communication. So the external communication is literally just a manifestation of how you feel about yourself. So the external communication can be your words, tonality, facial expressions, body language, things of that nature, and physical actions we take. So communication is going to be powering the rest of our lives. And if you master it, you can change the world, you can change yourself, you can change everything in your life. People who master this change the experience of the world, how the world perceives them, and how they perceive the world. You ever notice when somebody gets into a car accident, the one guy, he's freaking out, he's crying, he's so worried about his finances, he's all angry, he's overreacting over the top. And then there's the other guy, he get in an accident, he's like, it's okay. I know that God got me, or I know that I could pay this off. And they're both humans. They both have brains. They both have the same blood. They both pee and poop. The difference is they changed their internal state. Now, if you don't change your own internal state, the world controls it for you. And there's a lot of people who changed the world, memorable names that we know to this day. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, John F. Kennedy, they produced this mastery of communication. And your communication mastery with yourself and others is going to determine your success. But not only that, your internal communication determines your happiness. If you view every situation in a negative light, you're never going to be happy, even if you're successful. So it's about your internal communication as well. And the way you feel about certain situations, when things happen to you, when your car breaks down, when somebody just stole your money, and you interpret that in a different light because of the world taught you this way, you're not going to succeed because you're letting the world program you. You have the ability to change your perspective on things. So how you feel is not the result of the thing happening to you. It's actually about how you interpret that thing. Now, there's people who have 20 years interpreting it in this way. 20 years of everything makes them angry. Everything is negative in their eyes. 20 years of that. And you can still reverse that damage you did to yourself to become successful. Now, successful people show us that it's not about the things that happen to them. There's people who made it out the trenches. People who had nothing and made it to the top. And there's a different guy in the same situation. He's still down there. Why? How does this happen? Because it doesn't depend on what happens to us. It depends on what we do about what happens. And we are the ones who decide how to feel and how we act based on our own perspectives. You have these perspectives you've been given to as a child from your parents. You speak like how your parents taught you. You speak like how society taught you. You can change it. Please let that sit in your mind. I'm just going to pause so you can think about that. You can change your perspectives and communication skills. And it's not that hard. You just don't want to take the action. You just don't want to put in the effort. So please put the effort in. Please do something. I hate seeing you guys at these positions. I don't want to be in this position. I'm not rich. I'm not any different from you. I'm just taking action, making this video. Continuing to make videos, taking the action that is needed, taking this information and not just keeping it in here, bringing it out, posting it online, showing the world these things are possible. And a lot of people made this automatic, their interpretive process. They're like, oh, I interpret it this way. There's no way you can change how I feel. I'm never going to change how I feel. Somebody could tell you, you look beautiful. And another person could interpret that in a sexual way. Another person could interpret that in a pure way. But it's up to the individual who said it, who knows how they actually meant it. And people are going to interpret things a certain way. And they don't want to change their interpretation because they think they're right. Even when they're not right. Now we can take that power back because we are creators. We create our own realities. God gave us the ability to create. You see the home I'm living in? This is my basement. I'm living here. Right? There's homes everywhere. There's bank accounts that were created. There's tables that were created. This laptop I'm using is created. Everything is created. So what makes you think your mind is not created? You can create your reality in your mind. You're a creator. God gave us the ability to create. So please think about that. Think about that. Our mental states and behaviors are controllable. And an example would be like depression. A lot of people say, I have depression. This is happening to me. Oh, no, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. Depression doesn't just randomly happen to you. It's created through mental and physical actions that you've taken consciously or unconsciously. Maybe you took these actions without even knowing you did because you're not aware of your own thoughts. You're not that aware of yourself. Look into yourself. You're not even that aware of what you're doing in life. That's why these things are happening. That's why you can't change. That's why you're not getting rich. That's why you're not getting a better physique. Because you take these ways of life and let it control you. The only way to be depressed is by your own actions. Maybe you weren't aware you took these actions. Maybe you weren't aware you thought these things. Or maybe you are aware of it, that you thought these things, but you just let it happen. You can tell yourself, shut up. You can go in your head, consciously think, no, I'm not listening. Oh, I want to watch porn. Tell yourself, no, shut up. I'm not listening. Your brain is given to you by God, and He gave you the ability to create thoughts, not just that they get sent to your brain automatically. So get out of autopilot mode. Y'all are in autopilot mode. When you're in autopilot mode, things happen to you, and you start to believe this is you. You're in autopilot. You're not even thinking before what you do. The way to be depressed, go ahead and go like this. Go ahead, shrivel up. Go ahead, look down all the time. Go ahead, never smile. Never express yourself. Never have gratitude for anything. Never love anything. That's how you be depressed. I just gave you the blueprint to be depressed. Please don't follow that advice. Don't be depressed. But it's a choice. Either the world chose it and pushed it onto you, and you weren't aware because you didn't know how to be conscious about it, or you genuinely think it's comfortable to be depressed and stay in this state of negative self-talk. And it becomes comfortable. You start to sit in this sorrow and you start to love it. You start to cherish it and appreciate it. This starts to become the normal for you. Now you're on autopilot mode, feeling so good about this depression. Because it's your automatic state now. And leaving your mind to be controlled by the world without consciously stepping in or being aware is the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do. And I just want to leave you guys with that message. Please stop being in autopilot mode. Stop letting everything else control you. Fight your thoughts. I know the devil even tries to send thoughts into your mind. Those not yours. Fight back. You have the power. And this is my first time reading this book. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I read pages 24 to 25, which is 2 pages. And I took away a lot for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy my perspectives on this, my interpretation as well. And I hope you learn to interpret life through a different lens than the one that's keeping you in the same spot. I hope you guys learn that things aren't just happening to you and making you feel bad. You're making yourself feel bad without realizing you are. You can change that. And I want to leave you with that.